This is Michael from Southern Fire Guitars, and I'm working on a 3-string cigar box guitar right now in a Camacho box. It's going to have a humbucker pickup, a volume knob, and I'm going to show you how I wire that up and how I ground the strings. You don't want to miss this. So get yourself some quarantine popcorn and enjoy the show. This is the Camacho box that I'm working on. I'm going to go ahead and take the top off so I can show you the inside. I've had this box for a while, and I just now got around to wanting to build a guitar out of it. And looking inside of it at the wood grain and all this, I actually thought this was a real wood box. Now, I'm a woodworker, I do that for a living, and this thing even fooled me. Here, when I cut the notch out for the neck, it's veneer covered, looks like wood. You can see the inside of the box actually looks like it's wood. And I cut it open, and this yellow sawdust powdery stuff come off of the wood, and it's definitely MDF. Now, what is MDF? It's this: medium density fiberboard. And if you'll notice, the word wood isn't even in there. I've already got the hole for the pickup cut out, and you can see the top is just as thick as the rest of the box. In my opinion, definitely not a good choice for a piezo pickup at all. This would definitely be a box top for a humbucker or some kind of magnetic pickup. But I do have it cut out. It's very thick, same stuff, MDF. I'm going to put the pickup in it, and then we're going to wire it up. These are the components that we're going to wire up into this guitar. This humbucker pickup here. I do have an output jack and the volume potentiometer. Now, if you hold the potentiometer upside down like that, you'll have 3 posts right here. The one to the far right, that's going to be the ground. So I bend that over. On touching the bottom of the pot, I will solder this to the top of the bottom of the pot as the ground. This post over here will be my hot wire from my pickup. Will go here. The middle post will be a positive going to the positive on the output jack. And then everything is grounded to here. And then I'm going to show you how to ground the strings. I've installed the neck to the box, 2 screws there and 2 screws there. I did install the pickup on top of the box, and where the potentiometer was going to go, I had to take this 1¼ inch paddle bit to kind of bring that down a little bit, because the shaft wasn't sticking out enough through the top for the threads. So that will go in like that, and I got enough threads to put that on. My output jack will go there. I do have a jack plate for that right here. Well, I hope you can see that angle okay. I've got my pickup wire here. I got my potentiometer right here installed. The output jack I've got held with this little clamp. And before I do the soldering, I'm going to tint all the contacts with a little solder. And first I'm going to add a little flux paste to all the contacts so the solder will flow good. This stuff right here is called flux. Flux, not to be confused with the flux capacitor, which is what makes time travel possible. I'm going to take a little bit of this flux with this little Q-tip and touch it to all the contacts. Then take my solder gun, clean off the end good with my wire brush, and tint the ends. This is the ground wire from my pickup and this will be my ground wire going to my output jack. So I am going to twist these two together. Now this is the positive wire coming from my pickup. I'm going to solder it on this last post on this end. This will be another positive wire going from the middle post to the positive on my output jack. I'll solder it right to the middle. Now the ground wire coming from my pickup and the one going to the output jack, I'm going to solder to the top of the pot. This positive wire that is going from the middle post is going to go to the positive on the output jack. The pickup is wired to the potentiometer. I have the positive wire coming out to the output jack. I don't have the ground on this yet because I'm going to show you how I do that to ground the strings. Now what I did here, this is a through the body guitar design. Here's where my strings are going to go through. Now what I've done here is I've cut a little notch here, if you can see that, right next to where the strings are going to come through the top here. Same way I did the little notch down here for the nut. Now what I've done here is I've drilled a hole. Actually I did two because one was a little too high. The top one was too high, so I had to drill another one, which is this hole here. It goes diagonally and comes out on the bottom. That's going to be my ground wire. It's going to come up through the top right here, and in this little slot here I'm going to have this piece of cut off nail right here. I have my wire will be laying underneath here and the nail will go on top. My strings will come up from underneath and go over the top of this nail, and the wire will be ground to the output jack. That's how we're going to ground the strings. I've got the ground wire laying right here. You can see it in that little notched out area. It's coming out right there, and it's going right to the output jack. Then I'll just lay the little nail right in there. All three strings will go over the top of the nail, which will ground all three strings, and the whole guitar will be grounded. Now this little piece here, you could put a little spot of glue in there and just glue that down if you'd like. I'm going to put it together and I'll show you what it looks like. I am finished wiring up the inside of the box. I have this little piece of wood here just holding the top open. I did put some hot glue places to keep the wire nice and neat. You can see I have a little bit of glue holding the ground wire down there. I did put a little spot of glue right underneath the middle of this nail just to hold it down there. I got the jack installed right there, and I am going to button this thing up, put some strings on it, and see how it sounds. Well, I have the Camacho box all buttoned up, strung up, and tuned up. I did have to make a slight modification though. This little nail that I was using to ground the strings was a little too small. My strings were going over the top and was not touching the nail, so I had to add a little bigger nail to that, and I'll show you that right now. Here are my grounded strings. That's the larger nail. This is the one I had in there originally, but it wasn't quite big around enough. So as you can see, the strings are all touching the nail, and the nail is ground to the output jack, which is ground to the top of the pot, or the bottom of the pot. Speaking of the Camacho box, I recall a song from a long time ago to do with this box. It was done with by a band with guys in different costumes. What was that song? Camacho, macho man. I wanna be a Camacho man. Camacho, macho man. I wanna be a Camacho. Yeah, that was it. This Camacho box came out beautiful. I want you to see this. This was the heel. I laminated the heel with poplar and a strip of oak in the middle. Really nice looking. And let's see how it sounds. Let's try it with the slide. If you lasted this long in this video, that tells me that you like Cigar Box Guitar videos. And if that's the case, you need to click on the subscribe button below. And don't forget to click on the bell notification to let you know when I post one. Did you hear that bird? He's telling you to check out some of my other videos at the end of this one. When the rain starts a-falling, it's gonna rain all night long. When the rain starts a-falling, it's gonna rain all night long. It's gonna rain down on my tin roof and play me a beautiful song.